Some people believe that viruses are living things due to the fact that they can reproduce, spread their DNA, and grow. However, some others strongly believe that they are not living. Some evidence further states that the virus cannot reproduce or spread their DNA without help of a host.
According to the Neva sisters, viruses are not made of cells, and if the virus cannot attach to the host, then they cannot inject the genetic material, meaning if there is not a host, the viruses cannot be living. They would just be dead.
Okay.
Huh?
In 30 seconds or so. Sorry. You ready? Okay.
While some people believe that viruses are living, we disagree. Viruses are non-living because in order to be a living thing, it has to have certain characteristics. They lack many of the characteristics that would make them living. They need a host to be able to multiply, and once they hit the cell, it explodes into millions of pieces.
People say they are living things, or people say they are, but living things cannot multiply, they reproduce. And also the only thing that would make them living is their DNA, but other than that, they are not living because they have nothing that a living thing needs to survive. The virus itself does not grow like a natural thing would, but it multiplies instead. It does not have a cell membrane.
So at this point, we're going to move into more of a forum. So I'm going to ask that you guys pull your stools so you guys can kind of face each other and see each other's faces more
This is
clearly.
gonna get bad. Oh, I thought he meant like get up where like right at the same table.
So I just want
Like
to
when-
remind you that the purpose of this is to have a dialogue, not a fight, an argument, right? To have a dialogue on better understanding their stance, and then you guys to better understand their stance. So that's what we're going to give you the opportunity to probe each other's thinking, and then make sure you kind of pause a second or two before you just interject a new idea. But also to paraphrase, like if you ask them a question and they answer it, paraphrase it back to them to make sure that you're saying it right in their head. So you guys are making sure you're on the same page of understanding what each other is saying. So I think I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the first opportunity to maybe summarize, similar to what you did there, Quinn, at the end of the intro, about what your major stances are for why they are living. Or Cody, I mean not just her, but
So our major senses are that viruses are alive because they can grow, evolve, and reproduce. And dead viruses, or if you think that viruses are dead, then they wouldn't be able to kill themselves off. Like with medicine, viruses wouldn't be able to die if they were already dead. Or how would something dead reproduce and spread, or even grow?
We also said they can evolve.
You guys see what
so could you refresh us on what your major stance is? Why they're not living in a sentence? Or two? Maybe somebody. I'd really like to see you do it without having to read it. So just spout out, talk. No notes right now. This is a notes-free section. So what is the stance of the not living? Why do you think they're not living? In a sentence or two, and you can all combine it together.
We believe that they,
Can you speak up a little bit?
we believe that they are non-living because they do not have a metabolism and they do not truly reproduce, they just multiply.
I got my reason. Well, another reason is that they don't really have a cell membrane, and like according to Quora.com, every living organism has a cell membrane, and every living thing has a cell membrane, and it states that viruses, in fact, do not have a cell membrane. So that would be another reason why they would be non-living.
Wait, what did you say, guys?
That they don't truly reproduce, they just multiply and they have no metabolism.
And then we have to have a host to multiply.
Reproduce.
Yes.
Multiply.
Okay, wait. How could something dead?
Hey, we're not asking questions.
No, I'm not asking questions.
You can ask questions.
You can ask questions.
You can ask questions.
How could something dead multiply? So if let's say a dead animal, how is it going to multiply itself? Even if
Because
that.
they attach to which is alive. Yeah. So they attach to something that is alive.
So you're saying if that animal attaches to something else,
It's not dead.
what was
Also
non-living
known
mean?
as dead.
It means well, saying dead means it was once
So if
alive.
a person is non-living, then what are they?
They're not dead or alive. They're non-living. I just said that.
Non-living is, yeah, non-living.
No, dead means
No,
you were once
school.
alive. Non-living means you weren't. You're not alive.
This stool was
So
never
what
alive,
happens
it's
after-
not
wait, you
living.
said that they were once alive, but what does that mean? They were once alive, now they're dead?
There was a bar
So you're
right
saying
here,
there's a
and now
state
there's no
between
bar,
dead
so I don't know if that means that this is gonna die.
That's what you just said.
I am
You said they're not
saying
dead
that.
or alive. You said they're.
Okay, we're beyond the point, now we're arguing, not pausing and paraphrasing. So let's make sure that we're practicing that skill of letting them fully answer, pausing, and then you could paraphrase Cody, right? To make sure that you understand, and if they don't agree, then they will reply back, right? But we need to make sure that we're, right? I think she clearly answered that. She's saying that dead does not mean the same thing as non-living.
Right.
And they're saying that you can't be, can someone paraphrase?
You,
Repeat.
you can't be dead if you were never alive.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I just looked up the definition of dead, and it says no longer alive. So it's like you were alive before that.
He's angry.
But yeah.
So they're making the claim that viruses are never dead, or you can't kill a virus because it was never alive.
Unless the viruses are alive.
Unless they are alive, right, which is what you're saying. I get that, but we're just trying to get clarity for each other's stances here. Does anyone have another question or want to get clarity on the other side before we do the conclusion round?
So you're saying that for your characteristics of life, that they have to have a metabolism to be alive, right? Isn't that what you're saying?
Right.
Do you think that it could be possible that the characteristics of life you're using, I mean, I'm just saying that they're different than ours, so that we're not necessarily wrong, it's just like a different thing?
I can see that.
I feel like we're both going by the same list of characteristics of life, though.
See, we're not. We changed that because we don't think that they have to have a metabolism or breathe or need energy or need water, you know, all that kind of stuff to live,
And what's like what would be your definition or your characteristics of life?
to reproduce, to have DNA, to evolve.
But they can't reproduce on their own.
That's the argument. That's the point. Is that like that's what we think, but we think they can because they use the host cell to reproduce.
But that would be using something. They can't do it on their own.
So a virus doesn't exist no matter what it's on its own. A virus only exists if it has its own, like, you're not just gonna like randomly catch a virus out of the air.
What?
Yeah, you can catch a virus.
Yes, you can. There's so many airborne viruses.